Ethan Lawson stood in his sleek office overlooking the bustling streets of New York City, feeling a mix of pride and unease. As the owner of The Harvest, a renowned restaurant celebrated for its farm-to-table cuisine, Ethan had poured his heart and soul into building this establishment. The walls of his office were adorned with awards and photographs showcasing the restaurant's journey, but today, those accolades felt hollow. He was staring at the latest performance report, and the numbers were grim. Declining profits, a surge in customer complaints, and a notable drop in online reviews painted a troubling picture. "This can't be happening," Ethan muttered to himself, leaning back in his chair. The Harvest has always been a beacon of quality and community. The restaurant was not just a business to him, it was a dream realized, a place where he had cultivated relationships with local farmers and fostered a team that felt more like family than employees. Yet, recent whispers from the staff about Jack Monroe, the restaurant manager he had entrusted with its operations, made Ethan uneasy. Jack was charismatic and confident, but rumors of favoritism and harsh treatment towards employees had begun to surface. "I need to see for myself," Ethan decided. He was aware that his increasing distance from day-to-day operations was a concern. The rapid growth of his restaurant chain had shifted his focus towards broader strategy, and perhaps he had leaned too heavily on reports rather than personal observation. "Ethan, is everything all right?" Sarah, his assistant, asked as she entered the office. "I need you to clear my schedule for the next 2 weeks," he replied, leaning forward. "Cancel anything that isn't urgent. I'm going undercover at the Harvest." Sarah raised an eyebrow, surprised. "Undercover? You mean? I want to find out what's really going on. No one there can know who I am, not the staff, not Jack, no one." After a moment's hesitation, Sarah nodded. "I trust your instincts. I'll take care of it." 2 days later, Ethan stood before The Harvest, his heart pounding with anticipation. The charming exterior, with ivy climbing its brick walls and warm golden lights spilling from the windows, tugged at his heartstrings. He dressed in a simple gray hoodie, worn jeans, and sneakers, looking nothing like the polished CEO that graced the covers of business magazines. He pulled a baseball cap low over his eyes, transforming into just another job seeker. As he stepped inside, the familiar atmosphere felt off. The warm welcome he had worked so hard to cultivate seemed muted, replaced by a sense of urgency among the staff. Conversations were hushed, and smiles appeared forced. He approached the hostess, who eyed him skeptically. "Can I help you?" she asked. "Yeah, I'm here about the dishwasher position," Ethan replied, holding up a printed job listing. The hostess nodded, disappearing into the back. Moments later, Jack Monroe appeared, his tall, broad-shouldered frame exuding authority. However, there was an edge to his demeanor that put Ethan on guard. "You're here for the dishwasher job?" Jack asked, sizing Ethan up with a curt tone. "Yes, sir. I'm a hard worker and reliable. I won't let you down," Ethan replied, keeping his voice steady. Jack shrugged. "Fine. We need someone immediately. Follow me." As they walked through the kitchen, Ethan observed everything. The kitchen was a flurry of activity, but the energy felt chaotic. Staff members moved with urgency but without the camaraderie he remembered. Jack barked orders, his tone sharp and abrasive, and Ethan noted the worn-out expressions on the employees' faces. "This is the dishwashing station," Jack said, pointing to a corner where dirty dishes piled high. "It's not glamorous, but it's straightforward. Keep up, don't complain, and you'll be fine." Ethan nodded, suppressing a smirk. If only Jack knew who he was speaking to. For now, though, he needed to play the part of the eager-to-please employee. As he worked, Ethan listened to the conversations around him. It didn't take long to pick up on the underlying tension. "Watch out for Jack," a server whispered. "He's got a temper and doesn't care who he steps on." Ethan filed the information away. He couldn't make waves just yet, he needed to blend into the background and gather clues. By the end of his first shift, his back ached, and his hands were pruned from hours of scrubbing, but he felt a strange sense of satisfaction. He was in the trenches now, witnessing the reality of his restaurant firsthand. The next day, Ethan arrived early, blending in with the opening crew. His undercover role put him in a prime position to observe the inner workings without raising suspicion. However, it quickly became clear that the staff was under immense strain, with Jack's harsh management style evident in every interaction. "Move faster, or we'll fall behind," Jack barked, his voice echoing through the kitchen. Ethan watched as a young line cook dropped a tray of ingredients, only to be met with Jack's immediate wrath. "Are you kidding me? Do you even know how much that costs?" Jack snapped. Ethan's jaw tightened. Mistakes were inevitable in a high-pressure environment, but Jack's reaction only added to the tension. As the lunch rush approached, Ethan noticed other subtle signs of trouble: ingredients stored haphazardly, some past their expiration dates, and an overall lack of cleanliness that had once defined the harvest. During a rare lull in the action, Ethan struck up a conversation with Linda, the head chef who had been visibly struggling. "How long have you been here?" he asked casually. "Long enough to see how things have changed," Linda replied, her voice laced with frustration. "Jack's got his hands in everything, and if anyone speaks up, they're out." Ethan nodded, knowing he needed to gather more information. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to uncover the truth about Jack's management and the impact it had on the staff. As he left the restaurant that night, Ethan glanced back at the glowing sign. The harvest had lost its way, but he was committed to bringing it back. The following morning, he arrived early again, ready to observe and interact with the team. Ethan approached his work with renewed vigor, determined to gather as much evidence as possible. Over the next few days, he became increasingly aware of the little things: the way servers whispered about their shifts, the way Linda's eyes dimmed when Jack entered the room, the way the kitchen staff moved like cogs in a machine, each one fearing the next outburst from their boss. One evening, while washing dishes, Ethan struck up a conversation with Maria, a young server with a bright smile that belied her exhaustion. "How's it going?" he asked, trying to keep the tone light. Maria sighed, glancing around. "It's tough. Jack's been on everyone's case. I've seen people quit because they can't take it anymore." Ethan's heart sank. "What do you think is the biggest issue?" "Favoritism, for one," she replied. "He gives the best shifts to his friends while the rest of us scramble for whatever's left. It feels unfair." Ethan made a mental note to investigate further. He needed to gather enough evidence to confront Jack and put an end to this toxic environment. As he continued to work undercover, he noticed Jack's behavior becoming more erratic. The pressure of the restaurant's decline seemed to be weighing heavily on him, leading to unpredictable outbursts. One day, a cook inadvertently spilled some sauce, and Jack exploded. "Do you even know how to do your job?" he shouted, sending the staff into a flurry of panic. Ethan could no longer stay silent. "Jack, that's not how to handle mistakes," Ethan said, stepping forward. "People are going to make errors. You can't treat them like this." Jack turned to Ethan, his eyes narrowing. "Who are you to tell me how to manage my kitchen?" "I'm just a dishwasher who's tired of seeing the team suffer," Ethan replied, his voice steady. Jack scoffed and walked away, but Ethan felt a weight lift slightly. He was starting to gain confidence, but he knew he needed more proof to make a real impact. The following week, Ethan's chance came when he caught Jack in a compromising situation. After hours, he overheard Jack on the phone discussing deals with a supplier. "Make sure the invoice looks clean," Jack said, his voice low. "I don't need anyone asking questions." Ethan's heart raced. This was it, he needed to gather evidence. He slipped out of the kitchen and grabbed his phone, snapping photos of Jack's invoices and the suspicious transactions. It was clear that Jack was involved in something far more unethical than just poor management. As the days continued to unfold, Ethan's resolve solidified. He spent every moment he could investigating, talking to staff, and documenting everything he could find. The atmosphere in the restaurant was tense, but Ethan felt the tide beginning to turn. He began to earn the trust of his co-workers, who started to confide in him more. One day, after a particularly busy shift, Linda approached Ethan, her face serious. "You've been here a while now. What do you think?" "I think we need to confront Jack," Ethan said. "He's not just a bad manager, he's running a scam." Linda nodded. "I've seen the way he treats people. It's not right." As days passed, Ethan gathered his evidence, knowing it was time to act. He arranged a meeting with the staff, encouraging them to voice their frustrations and support one another. When the day finally came, Ethan felt a mix of anxiety and determination. "Listen, everyone," he began, standing in front of the group. "I know things have been difficult, but I want you to know that you have a voice. I've been documenting everything, and I believe we can make a change." The room was silent at first, but slowly, heads began to nod. Ethan looked around, seeing the resolve in their eyes. "We need to stand up to Jack. Together." The following day, Ethan summoned the courage to confront Jack. They met in the office, and Ethan laid out the evidence he had collected. "Jack, your management style has led to a toxic environment. I have proof of your unethical practices," he said, laying the documents on the table. Jack's confident demeanor faltered. "You think this is a joke?" "No, Jack. This is the reality of what you've created here," Ethan replied, his voice steady. "And it ends now." The confrontation escalated, and Jack, realizing he was cornered, attempted to retaliate. "You think you can just walk in here and take over? You're nothing without me." Ethan stood his ground. "I'm taking back what is rightfully mine. The Harvest deserves better than this." With that, Ethan marched out of the office, calling for the staff to gather. He explained the situation, revealing Jack's actions and the evidence he had collected. The team erupted into applause, their spirits lifted as they realized they had the power to reclaim their restaurant. Jack was fired that day, and the relief in the kitchen was palpable. Under Ethan's leadership, the Harvest began to heal. He implemented new policies that emphasized respect and teamwork, and morale began to soar. Employees felt empowered to share their ideas, and the kitchen buzzed with renewed energy. As the weeks passed, the restaurant flourished. Customers returned, drawn by the revitalized atmosphere and the quality of food. Ethan watched with pride as the staff worked together, their faces filled with joy instead of dread. One sunny afternoon, Ethan gathered the team to celebrate their achievements. "I want to thank each and every one of you for your hard work and resilience," he said, looking around at the smiling faces. "Together, we've turned this place around." The staff erupted in applause, and Ethan felt a surge of gratitude. The Harvest is more than just a restaurant, it's a community. And I'm proud to be part of it. As he watched the laughter and camaraderie fill the dining room, Ethan knew that they had not only reclaimed the restaurant but had built something even more significant, a family. The Harvest was thriving again, and this time, he was committed to ensuring it remained a place of joy, respect, and culinary excellence for years to come.